So these are my special new tiles that I got for my Amos Rex. And also, similarly, we got the same color tiles for the other two tables down there. Right now they're covered, but the idea is to have all three tables be able to play the same rule set. So we have some special new tiles, red 3s, one of each, blue 5s, one of each, purple 7s, one of each, and one Shiropochi Haku. And then, well, what are we going to do with these tiles? Well, this is going to be primarily a rule set that is meant to be played for money. So of course it's going to involve shugi as well as, your standard mahjong tembo. But it's going to involve chips or shugi as well. So here is my first draft of the rules. The rules for the Brooklyn Jonso, which is what I'm calling my house. So basically, the rules that I've come up with so far, these are not final. We are still in a testing phase, and we hope to sort of, test these out a bit and then make any changes as we see fit. 25k start, 30k return, a 30-10 UMA with 5,000 Oka per player. We have 20 starting chips per player, and I'll explain a little bit about chips and how they work and sort of what the point is if you've never played with them before. Homba is 1,500 points. We like big Homba here in New York. The Dora are the red 3s, blue 5s, and purple 7s. These are all Dora. And then shugi or chips. So you gain chips for winning Ipatsu. 1 chip for Ipatsu. And then you get 1 chip for every Uridora you get. Then for the red 3s, you get 1 chip for every red 3 only if your hand is closed. And for purple 7s, you get 1 chip per purple 7 only if your hand's open. And for blue 5s, either way, they both count, open or closed. If you win a Yakuman on Sumo, you get 4 chips from everyone, or if you run somebody, they give you 10. The Shiropochi, let's talk about the Shiropochi. So, the way it works is only if you're in Richi and you draw the Shiropochi, it counts as your most expensive out. So you can Sumo the Shiropochi and win your Takame. However, only if you're in Richi. We have open Richi. You only show the weight and it's worth +1 Han. Kiriage Mangan's on, Nagashi Mangan's on, doesn't count as a Gari. Tobi is on. This one, I'm not too sure if it's going to stay in the final version. Since we have so many Dora, all of these Dora, and we're starting only at 25k, if I see that people are busting too much, too often, either I might turn Tobi off or increase the starting points from 25k to 30k. That's TBD. Double and stacking Yakuman on and Pao on, that's pretty standard. And then the dealer, this is new, this is sort of unique. The dealer can choose to Renchan or pass. Homba resets if pass. So in other words, if the dealer wins a hand, or if they're Tenpai, they can choose to pass their dealership. So for example, say in East 1, you're the dealer. You win Yutsumo 4KO, right? You got a pretty decent lead. In that situation, you might want to pass your dealership because, well, you're in lead, so you don't want to get Oyakaburi'd and let somebody else, hit you hard, plus the Homba, which is a big Homba. So that's just one choice that we're giving the dealer to sort of preserve your lead a little more if you want it, or to prevent yourself from losing to some Oyakaburi, even if you're not in the lead. So just a sort of an added strategy kind of decision making rule that we're adding for the dealer. All aborts are on except 4 Kan and 4 Richi, and we have some special Yaku. So we have Kansai Chitoi. Kansai Chitoi is Chitoi that allows 4 of a kind or a quad. So if you have all 4 7s, it counts as 2 pairs of 7s. So it's allowed for Chitoi, and actually it's worth +1 Han for every 4 of a kind you have, every quad. And then all reds, all blues, or all purples is a Yaku. And it's 1 Han open or 2 Han closed. Plus, the value of the door itself, and then you may or may not get some chips, depending on if you meet the requirement for for the colors. All right. So that is the first draft of the Broken Janso rule set involving these fancy new tiles. I want to give a shout out to both Neil and Eric from Richinomi, the club, who painted. They both painted some tiles. Neil did the reds and the purples, and Eric did the blues for the Rex. And Neil added the little engraved little circle you see in the top right. That's for to make them more accessible for colorblind people. Sometimes they can't tell the tones apart, so having the little dot, helps them see that this is Dora. And then as well, Neil did the Shiropochi as well, lightly engraved with the smiley face there. Thank you so much, Neil and Eric, for your work. And then for the other two tables, we're also having Neil do the purple ones. Actually, we got all three originally for the other two from a store in Japan called Sasaki, where if you bring them tiles, they can paint them for you, or you can buy extra tiles from them and they will paint them as well. However, the purple that Sasaki did for us was a little too dark. It was hard to tell them apart from regular sevens. So we had Neil, who very graciously volunteered to help to make the purple a little bit brighter, more more noticeable that it's a purple. And definitely you can tell them apart now. So they look quite nice, I would say. All right. And then, of course, we have the 25K start. I've already set it up. And then I'm giving each player 20 chips. So I'm giving them 10 of the 1 and 2 of the 5s. And so the little compartment here to the side can hold the chips. And if you gain chips, then you can just take from here and give them to your opponent. So this rule set, like I said before, is a rule set that is primarily meant to be played for money. So the way it works is you assign, based on the rate you're playing, the chips are worth some amount of money. Usually it's 50 cents or $1 or $2, depending on the rate. And then for every 1,000 points, you also assign some value of money, depending on the rate. So we usually play one of three rates: 10 san, Tengo, or 10 pin. 10 san is 0.3, I think it's 30 cents per 1,000 points. I think Tango is 50 cents per 1,000 points, and I believe 10 pin is $1 per point, $1 per 1,000 points. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that's the case. And we have like a spreadsheet where we calculate the ending sort of points and points plus or minus chips to dollar conversion. So depending on your final score and how many chips you ended up with, then it converts it to dollars. So that's how it works. I'm gonna have some friends over to test this rule set, and then I'm going to provide some concluding thoughts after those test sessions to tell you guys if there's anything I would change or if I enjoyed it the way it is. All right. Alright, so we concluded our little testing session. We played 6 hanchan total, and these were the results. So we played the smallest rate, which was 10 san. 10 san is 0.3. For reference, Tango is 0.5, 10 pin is 1.0. So 10 san is like the smallest rate that you usually find. This website is called Chippy-Nomi. We use it to sort of log our games that are played for money, and it does the calculation for you. So in the 6 games, you can see my results there on the third column. I went third, fourth, second, fourth, first. So 2 firsts, 1 second, 1 third, and 2 fourths for a pretty even spread. That's why I pretty much broke even. I was only up $6. Wavin was a big winner, Mittens was the second big winner, and Chris was hard done by here. getting some pretty negative results here for down 74. But yeah, the way it works here, our little website here is you can, when you submit a match, basically you add your Oka, which we do have, UMA, which is 3010, and then you set the rate, which is 10 san at 30 cents. 10 cents, so yeah, 0.3. When I said 0.3, it means 30 cents for every 1,000 points. So Tango would be 50 cents for every 1,000 points, and 10 pin would be $1 per 1,000 points. And then you set some value for your chips. So we only set them to 50 cents per chip. And that's, you enter your points here and then your chips, and then it calculates the final score. And that's how we have our results over here. So what was the conclusion here of this testing session? So there was one game, it was actually game number 4 here, where I ended at minus 21.7, where I busted in East 1. So I called Ricci, and then I was chased by the dealer, dealt into 18K. And then there was some big sumo after that, and I believe I busted. Or maybe I just dealt into a smaller hand, and with the home and everything, it was GG's. So I think one minor change I would make to the rules is just make it 30,000 start instead of 25, so people bust a little less often. Other than that, I really like these rules. So it definitely makes you approach the game a little bit differently. You're constantly thinking about, you know, okay, so I have more reds than anything in my hand, so I'm gonna prioritize going for a closed hand. Or if I have more blues and purples, then perhaps you prioritize opening your hand at all costs and trying to win a quick hand. Then one thing that my friends pointed out who came over to play is that because there's 9 colored Dora, you have to be okay like cutting them. Usually when you're playing games for rate and you just have the red 5s, and the red 5s are worth 1 Dora and 1 chip, such as just the blues are in this case. Usually if you draw one, you'll keep it at all costs and try to make use of it, because a tile that's worth a Dora and a chip is very, very valuable in such a rule set. But because there's 3 times 3 of the color tiles here, based on your strategy, whether you're going for an open hand, a closed hand, you have to be able to let go of some of these colored tiles in your hand. You can't use them all the time. So that was interesting. Definitely, it encourages more aggressive mahjong, which is more exciting. But at the same time, you don't want to leave yourself super defenseless, because, if somebody calls Ricci, you never know really how many Dora they might have in this rule set. So you have to be careful about that too. So definitely fine-tuning your push-fold for this rule set is sort of a different meta that we'll be trying to figure out as time goes on. But all in all, I had a lot of fun over these 6 hanchan. Thank you to Chris, Kevin, and Weibin for coming over to test my rules. And yeah, I look forward to playing many more hanchan with these pretty tiles. And I think this is going to be a staple here as my house rules. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit of a different video, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.